Yo, what's up, everybody? Okay, I'm gonna give it like just like a minute or two, and then we'll take a look. Today, my screener, guys, nothing on the screener at all. Not literally, not even one single coin that is actually green. So, not a single coin that is actually highlighted green in any way at all, which means that the market is looking pretty crappy still. Okay, so we'll just give it a minute. Maybe some other people will log on. It's still very early in North America, and people are having dinner in Europe right now. So, welcome everybody to another daily 10-minute update. And today's title is a case study of two possibilities, analyzing both cases, looking at both the bearish and the bullish scenario. Now, for those that have been following me a long time, whenever I make a joke about a bearish scenario, it's just satire first of all, and I have a funny sense of humor, or I try to have one. I try to make light of situations. So whenever you guys see me post or joke about certain things, never take it seriously. I think we all know that I'm very bullish long term, and it's just that the short-term volatility, that's what scares people the most in the market. And especially if you're a newer investor or a newer trader, seeing your portfolio drop 10 to 20% in a single day, it can be devastating. And during those moments, I always like to take the time to make fun of those people that call their parents and cry to their girlfriends. So it's very important for you to take a step back and laugh at them and go, that's it? 20% drop? I fucking held through 90% bear market drops before. I'm one of those people that grew $10,000 to like 1 billion and then I never took profit. That's nothing, 20% drop. I've been through worse than that. So always take the time to make fun of the people that are crying when their portfolio dropped. It's very important, you know? This wouldn't be crypto if you didn't make fun of all the people that call their mom like, my crypto portfolio dropped 20%. I'm back to eating instant noodles. Grow the fuck up. Grow a pair of diamond balls, and who cares? Just suck it up, buttercup. The Bitcoin market is going to rally. So there's many things to consider, okay? Our rich man, I'm using a pretty wild setup, man. This monitor here is a 59-inch Samsung G9 Neo Ultra Wide 8K 240 Hertz. This one's a 43-inch, and we're gonna go over that later, okay, guys? Okay, so there's always basically four things you should consider, okay? The first thing you consider is a short-term trend. Is it bullish or bearish? And then basically the third and the fourth thing you consider is the longer term trend. Is it bullish or is it bearish? Okay, you must be able to understand the difference between them. So there could be a misunderstanding between people posting on Twitter or even social media sometimes. So we're going to take a look at all of this right now. First of all, we're going to take a look at this from the long-term perspective. Okay, and by the way, thanks for joining me, guys. For those that don't know me, my name is Philakone. I have been voted by my 7 pets as the most degenerate day trader and investor for 9 years running now. Okay, so thank you for joining me. I have been liquidated like a billion times. Hopefully it's the billionth and 1th time where you're gonna learn from your mistake. Okay, you just have to keep leveraging times 50 or times 100 as many times as you can, that eventually you're gonna make enough money to retire. That's the golden rule of how to be successful as a day trader and as an investor, okay? There's like, fuck risk management. There's like risk management is so overrated. It just comes down to how many times can you actually fail when you leverage and get liquidated. Like before you eventually make like $1 billion, you can only fail so many times and get liquidated so many times before you make a lot of money. So if you adopt that mentality long term, I think you'll be hyper successful as a day trader and as an investor. Like buying courses is overrated. Okay, you know, buying anything like to learn is overrated. Risk management, that stuff is just fancy words that successful people throw around to try to make you buy courses. Okay, enough with the sarcasm. Okay, so let's look at the long-term trend of Bitcoin. And the best way to evaluate the long-term trend is like this, okay? You're going to want to look at it from the perspective of a daily chart, okay? The daily is a very, very, very successful chart. And you also want to look at it from the perspective of like, of the halving, okay? So for those that don't know what the halving is, hang on. I don't even fucking know what it is. I have to Google it. What's the halving? I'm just kidding. I know what the Bitcoin halving is. I got to make a mental note after this video. Actually learn what the Bitcoin halving is, Philakone. I'm just kidding. So after the Bitcoin halving event, okay, there's usually a period of something that happens. An accumulation period, but it doesn't matter what happens shortly before it or after it. What happens is after it, okay? So in 2016, it made like a 30x ROI after the halving. In 2020, it made a 7x ROI after the halving. Now, people are concerned about what happens like for the short term. So long term, you know that it's gonna make an like a massive ROI. But every year it has diminishing returns because when the market cap is so high already, it's just impossible to double or triple the market cap even more. That's why, like, you know, the market cap in general, once it gets to the trillions of dollars, it's not going to be as easy to like double or multiply when it's in the billions of dollars, right? And another long-term thing we can conclude from what I just showed you is, yes, the ROI gets massive. This time, I would expect an ROI of between 3 to 5. Because before, we got an ROI of 30, and then before, we got an ROI of 6. This time, 3 to 5 ROI is realistic. Even if we got a 3 ROI from 60, 70K, that's still between $180 to $210,000. So long-term, we're good. Okay, another long-term trend is this. If you look at it from the daily chart, and then you load up the 200 moving average and also the 50 exponential moving average. Yellow is the 50, white is the 200. What you're gonna see is every time we get sandwiched in between there, or basically every time it gets to the 50 EMA after the halving, is the best time to buy. So if you bought it between here and you bought it here, 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 you can kind of see the trend, right? Here, here, it eventually leads in here to a massive parabolic rally that leads to an huge all-time high. So that's proven it in case one for 2016 for the long-term trend. For the another long-term trend is that after the halving period, which is here in May of 2020, same strategy applies. Buy it at the 50 or between the 200 EMA. Buy it here, here, and eventually it gets to an all-time high. Buy it here, and it just keep riding it. It gets to an all-time high, literally. Same thing has happened so far in every single bull market after the Bitcoin halving. And here we go again after the halving event, okay? So the halving event occurred already in May. But even after the bear market ends, if you buy below the 200 EMA or follow the same concepts again, right, you would be in profit every single time. So the long-term trend, I am very bullish on it. But it does not negate the fact that you got to consider the short-term trend as well. Because the short-term trend is where people get wrecked. Because they don't have those diamond balls that I have or that seasoned investors have. You can like take a stone crusher and put it against my balls and it wouldn't even shatter. Okay, it wouldn't even get scratched. Okay, nothing damages my balls except for my wife yelling at me. She's behind me.
I heard you.
You guys see her? She's sneaking. She just went in the elevator. She just got her crack delivery. I'm just kidding. It wasn't crack. It was meth. No. So anyways, long term, we're good. Short term, okay, guys? Short term, we got to look at it. So this is how we're trending short term right now. And every time you like talk about the short term trend, what ends up happening is like people unfollow me or they start like really shitting on me in Twitter. Horrible. It's so this is the trend. We have now been here for like 90 something days. This is the major resistance that needs to get broken. It's around 70, 1,900-ish. Here's the major support. This channel has been held there for a long period of time now, for 90 something days. Okay, so until we break it, we're not going to be going anywhere. Now, higher lows are often either parabolic or they come into like a trend line where you can easily identify. Would you guys agree with me that this is a very beautiful trend line that I'm drawing? If you look at it on a different time frame, it would be impossible to say that that's not a gorgeous trend line that we're drawing right here. That's basically hitting everything, okay? It's hitting all of the keynotes, hitting here, right? So anyways, it's a beautiful trend line. It has higher lows every single time. So now there's two things that can happen. We've now identified this major resistance over here, okay? It's a major resistance. So think about, I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds to think about it. What are the two cases that can happen? And be realistic. What's literally the two things that can happen right now? Okay? And once it squeezes into an apex, this apex will be squeezed in less than 9 days max. All right? But realistically, it'll do something before then. So what could happen is two things. It's either going to start smashing that $72,000 resistance, or it's going to break that trend that has been now held for 40 days. What's more realistic to you guys, okay? To be a perma bull and just be like, yep, we're going to smash through the upside just because you wanted to. Just because you wanted to, it's not enough of a reason. And then people are telling me to consider all of the fundamental reasons. I have considered them. And the thing is, technically, okay, the chart, it shows all of the fundamental and macroeconomic factors, and it factors into the charts itself. You have to understand the philosophy of what technical analysis is. It represents all world news into the price action. Not only that, one of the biggest positive news that we've seen is just a few days ago, okay? 4 days ago, we had literally a record day for spot ETF purchases from institutions, close to $1 billion of inflow. That is massive, massive. So long term, we're good. But that doesn't change the fact that it was going to, cause a catalyst to go. So this was on June the 5th. Did we break it just because Bitcoin had the largest inflow of ETFs? No, we still dropped to the downside. So you could have all of the positive news in the world right now. It doesn't mean it's going to break it right now. It can still drop to the downside. So you have to be very mindful that Bitcoin's got two things. Are you just a perma bull and you want this to break? Everybody wants it to break. I want it to break. My portfolio dropped $450,000 in 2.5 hours. So my portfolio is like in the middle 7-figure ranges. It was close to 7 million at one point at the high on March the 14th, but it just dropped. And then people are like making fun of me, like, oh, look at you losing $500,000. I'm like, you know what? This is the point of a portfolio, right? You got to let it ride the volatility and not even be bothered by it. So if you look here, I just don't think that Bitcoin has a strong enough trend line where this trend line is just going to keep causing higher lows, higher lows, higher lows to the point where we're going to smash it to the upside. I just have a hard time believing that right now because it's the summer, first of all, and Q3, Q4 is usually the bullish months for the year before the bull market. I think it's going to be more of a, let's just chill here until the federal election comes up, like in later Q4. So, and until the interest rates drop, and the money printer gets turned back on huge, quantitative easing kicks in, I just can't see it breaking it with force. But if it does, I would be extremely happy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just being more realistic than anything. That I believe that, if I'm wrong, trust me, I would love to be wrong in this case. But I look at all of the factors, and I'm going to show you guys two strong factors right now, okay? One is the MACD. The MACD literally just failed. So here's the first attempt we made. Here's the second attempt we made. Histogram is lower. Here's the first attempt we made right there. Here's the second attempt we made. Histogram is lower by a huge amount with the crossover that happened already. Also, the RSI just literally got a lower high as well. So it lost strength instead of gained strength when we got to the second high, which is not a good sign, okay? And another major sign that I see is this. We had the momentum to go upwards, okay? So the 4-day candle closed yesterday, which is very important, the 4-day. This guy here, this one that I'm pointing at, okay, it actually was on par to create this trend on the histogram to go upwards. So it looked like it was literally just gonna go upwards, right? Gonna go upwards like that. But what ended up happening was it printed off a concave shape instead. Think of it like a cave door. This is a cave door. So now it made a cave door type of shape where it tried to break up, got rejected right there. Now it's curving back down. And this looks like it's gonna correct further before it breaks to the upside. So from a technical perspective, I'm showing you some massive proof right now that it doesn't look like we're gonna break up right now. I mean, what could likely happen is we could just finish, like right now, it could bounce. I'm not saying we're gonna drop right this moment. But what I'm saying is that this pattern is going to unfold itself very soon, and it's gonna show us its true colors. I don't think there's enough of a force, technically or fundamentally, to break to the upside yet. And it's more likely to break down, in my opinion. I'm not happy to give this bias. I don't like making the public upset because people don't want to hear that. But unfortunately, I have a lot of skin in the game. I manage a multi-million-dollar portfolio, and I would be just as upset as everybody else if it did drop to the downside. But either way, it's going to finish off this pattern in about, I'd say, maybe in a week, 7 days. By the end of next Sunday, we're going to find out indefinitely what's going to happen. Are we going to correct further down? And if we did drop, we'd probably hit about $60,000 again, okay? And then maybe we'll bounce off of there, and then we're just going to skyrocket. That's a possibility. Or we might not even break down, and we're just going to go to the upside, okay? So that's a possibility as well. But either way, be prepared for what happens short term. Because if you're worried about the short term volatility, you got to get your mindset out of that short term game. Stop looking at your portfolio every single day. Look at it maybe once every week or so. If you're a day trader, just worry about the day. Don't think about the long-term trend. If you're an investor, don't think about the short-term trend. Don't ever go down to like a 1 hour or a 4 hour time frame as an investor. If you're an investor, the shortest time frame you should ever be looking at is the daily. That's it. So I've showed you guys lots of data that's implying that we might drop down. And once again, for the last time, if we go up, hey, I'd be very happy. But for now, crypto market cap dropped 6%. You know, it's not looking the best right now. Total One, which measures the market cap for all of crypto, has dropped 6% in a whopping day. But the good news is that we are back at a support level. So the support level is around these ranges over here. So if we can hold these ranges, it might be very good news. If we drop these ranges, we're probably going to drop back down to about 2.4 trillion. But the good news is that 3 trillion is the all-time high from last time, and we're getting pretty close to there. When this shatters, everything is going to go into price discovery phase. So instead of having the mindset of being scared of crypto dropping right now, get into the mindset of everything is on discount and you have a little bit more time to do whatever you need to do to make extra money, do whatever you need to do to save more, to accumulate, to perhaps consider dollar cost averaging and averaging out your prices even more and accumulating more of your favorite coins. So just because we don't break right now, it's not a bad thing in any way, okay guys? So I'm gonna go through just the crypto scanner for you guys. For those that don't know my crypto scanner, this guy here, this here is one of the best things in the world. So what it does is it shows me everything that is potentially moving. It's the advanced volatility scanner that I created. And what it does is it tells me anything that moves for the day. But the most important thing is it tells me how the market generally is. Okay, so the first thing I do when I log on is I just look at this scanner and I can tell if the market is good or bad based off of 3 things. How much are red, how much are green, and if there's any coins at all that are actually highlighted in the green box. And this measures volatility over 4 different scans. It looks for anything that moves 5% in 1 hour, 20% in 2 hours, 15% in 4 hours, or 20% in 48 hours. How much of these coins do you see that's highlighted green? Like there's a big box that's green around it. 0. There's actually not a single coin that meets any of these volatility criterias. So the first thing you do when you log on, if you're a day trader or a swing trader, is you see which ones are highlighted green. And there's not a single one. So because there's not a single one, that boom, it tells you instantly without even going to TradingView how the market is. So the market is crappy. Now, if you just kind of look at it, how many green versus red are there? Is it kind of balanced? I would say there's like more red than there's more green in terms of the colors of the numbers. So because of that, you know right away that the market is more so bearish than it is bullish. So this measures exactly the time frame back, okay? So the fourth column measures exactly 48 hours back and how bad the market is. So you can see that within 48 hours, most coins have dropped like 10 to 20%. So every coin is doing pretty bad. There's not like literally a single coin that's really in the green right now. So this scanner is one of the best things that you can ever use, in my opinion, in the market to tell you, like if a coin's popping off, okay, let's say a coin moves 5% in 1 hour. It's going to highlight green, boom, right away. You go to that coin, you're never going to miss a volatile coin. So that's one way you could use it. Or you could look for a longer term volatility trend. Like if a coin moved 15% in 4 hours and boom, it's going to highlight green. You go to that coin and you make your decision to trade it or not, or to short it, right? So that's one thing it does. Another thing is it gives you a gauge of the market, of just a general market sentiment right away. So when I log on, I needed to create a simple way to have an evaluation of the market without looking at every single coin. And I realized this is the best thing out on the market. There's nothing in the world that does what this does. It's such a simple idea, but it cost me a crap ton to develop it. And if you guys want it, just take a look at the link below. Yes, I do charge for it because it cost me an arm and a leg in terms of time and money to develop it. But once you have it forever. Okay, it's a lifetime membership. So take a look at it. I wasn't telling you guys about it to try to sell it. Don't take it the wrong way. I was more so using it right now just to tell you how the market is. And the market is absolutely crappy because nothing is highlighted green in any way. So now you guys have an idea of market sentiment. It fucking sucks. Okay, guys, that's it. Everybody go chill. Gotta chill until this pattern finishes up in about 7 days time. Okay, so make sure you guys are paying attention to that pattern that I showed you guys earlier. And within 7 days, something is going to happen. We're either going to break up and I'm going to be humbled and I will be happy if we smash $72,000 because the market will now completely go to the upside and we'll be in price discovery phase. But if we do drop to the downside, you guys are going to be like, yep, my boy Philakone, he warned me that this was more likely to happen. Either way, it's a win-win situation because if it goes up, hey, everyone's portfolio is going to be great and we'll find more day trading opportunities. If it goes down, even better, actually, in my opinion, because we have more time to make more income, to accumulate more at lower prices and fill up our bags even more. So time is on our side if it drops to the downside. Sean, if you're curious about all my links and stuff, it's all in the link below in this video, so you guys can take a look at all that. I'm going to take a look at some questions. Some degenerate questions for a degenerate day trader. Nobody is interesting enough to answer. Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome. And join me more often, guys. Join me more often. And by the way, guys, all of you guys kept telling me I was really fat. So guess what? I lost 38 pounds. Yeah, I feel so healthy. You know how I did it? The #1 diet is cocaine. Because when you do it, you just don't eat anything. I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking kidding. Okay, have yourselves a great day, everybody. Thank you for joining me.